Give the call to the honourable member for McKellar.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Last year, former Victorian Police Commissioner Nixon was commissioned to investigate Australia's migration system. In your own words, that system is currently being used to facilitate some of the worst crimes that can be conducted, such as human trafficking and sex slavery. It was promised that this report would be made public before the last budget. My question is, why hasn't the report been released publicly yet, and when will it be released? Thank you.
The Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cybersecurity has the call.
Thank you, Speaker. And can I really genuinely thank the member for McKellar for this question. She's right. There are some absolutely terrible things that we inherited in the immigration system, and there is a very large volume of work occurring on this matter at the moment. If I can just give the parliament a little bit of context, we arrived in government a year ago to find the immigration system in an absolute mess. We had 1 million unprocessed visas in the system. We had an explosion of low-wage temporary migration that we saw under the Leader of the Opposition when he was running this portfolio. And as the member points out, we had clear evidence that this system was being used to facilitate terrible crimes that I don't think anyone in this parliament would defend. And the worst of those were instances of human trafficking and sexual exploitation, and this broken migration system was right at the heart of those crimes being committed, right under the nose of the Leader of the Opposition, who sits opposite me. Now, there is an enormous amount of work underway to address these concerns at the moment, so it wasn't just the Nixon review, although I'll speak to that in just a second. We asked Australian Border Force to stand up a new task force to address some of these issues, Operation Inglenook. Operation Inglenook has been enormously successful. They have done somewhere just over 50 major disruptions of incidents where they believe that some of these issues are present in Australia at the moment. They've stopped people at the border, they have cancelled visas, they've dealt with a number of very shoddy migration agents who we know are at the centre of this problem, so there's been some very good practical action. But of course the system itself has facilitated this, and that's why I asked Nixon, who is probably the toughest cop that certainly we've seen in Victoria, to look at this review. I'd like to just acknowledge her work. It's been very much of assistance to the government in thinking about how we're going to address these issues. So the government is actively considering the recommendations of the review at the moment. We will release the review and the government's response to that review shortly. I'm very happy to speak to the member in private before the review is released, and also afterwards to talk to her about some of these very important issues facing our country. Thank you.